little while ago, I posted a video of how to make a face mask to try and stop you spreading droplets in the corona epidemic. I'm also conscious of the fact that one of my daughters is a key worker and she's only been provided with one mask. So with that in mind, I'm going to try and make some washable / disposable masks easily. Now, I just happen to have those fat quarters that I bought ages ago at the craft store and never used. So I'm going to use those for this, given that cotton and polycotton fabrics are supposed to be scientifically the best. Okay, so here's the finished product. It is a polycotton mask. It's got ear tabs, which actually I don't particularly like, but anyway, most people seem to. Pleats at the side so that it balloons up to cover your nose. It's also double fabric, so and it is got a pouch for a tissue, so you can dispose the tissue if it gets wet, because one of the issues is they become less effective if they get wet, so that's an extra barrier. It's also got a piece of wire like this, sewn into the top lip, so you can take the tissue out, you can wash it and then put a new tissue in, because the piece of wire is actually sewn in, you can actually safely put it through the washing machine, because it's no different to having a wire in a bra. Okay, so these are the things that you'll need. Let's get started. It's a 27 centimetres by approximately 24 centimetres wide piece of cloth that you can fold in, that you've cut out square, well, oblong, and you can fold in two. Any old piece of elastic. If you haven't got these, you can use hair bubbles. You'll need some masking tape. Now, because when you cut the piece of wire to put for the nose bend, the ends are usually sharp and they could poke through and hurt somebody. So what I do is I put a bit of masking tape on the end to stop that happening. And of course, a pack of 4-ply tissues. Okay, let me just get on and show you what I do. Okay, so what I've just done is I've straightened out the wire and I've used tin snips to cut a piece that's approximately 8 centimetres long. Okay, so there's my piece of wire for the nose. It's important to do that first because I'm actually going to sew that into the fabric as I make the mask. See that I've put the wire into the gaffer tape and left a little bit over at the end. Okay, so the first job is to fold over approximately 1 centimetre on either of the long edges, and on one edge you're actually going to sew in the centerpiece the wire. Okay, so this isn't the neatest sewing in the world, but you can see I've edged on the inside and on that side about 1 centimetre, and in the middle there, in a pouch, is the wire which will bend, which will make a nice bend over the nose to keep a nice snug fit, because again that's essential in a mask. And it's stitched in at either end so it can't move. I would suggest that you put that on the outside so that it's got 2 layers of fabric between the nose and the wire, because they still pinch a little. Okay, so my next job is I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to sew up the sides, a little bit onto there, a little bit back onto there, a little bit back onto there, and down that side, so that I've got effectively a bag, a bit like a pillowcase, with a small opening that the tissue can be inserted in. Okay, so I'll do that next. Okay, so now you can see these edges are sewn up there, and then it's sewn along there, and there's an opening in the middle, and sewn along there and sewn down there. Now I just have to turn it the right way out. If you struggle, as I sometimes do, to get the corners out properly, you can just insert a pencil, preferably the blunt end of a pencil, and sort of work the corners out to make sure that you've got them out neatly. Okay, so now I'm holding where the pleats should be. So what I've done is I've folded the cloth in 3 places to gather it up. I'm going to do that on both sides, both facing the same direction, and I'm just going to put a single line of stitches down there. It'll look fairly neat, but not the designer gown job. Okay, so there I've sewn straight along those edges, straight along that edge. And now we've got a nicely starting to look like a mask that's shaped. It's got a bit of rigidity with the wire, but it's also got that shape that will accommodate your nose and your mouth, and hopefully tuck nicely underneath your chin. On this one I'm going to put long elastics because I can't get on with the ear one, so you could either attach a piece of elastic from there to there, from there to there, or you can attach 2 pieces of elastic that go, one to go over the top of the head and one to go in the back of the head. About 18 centimetres of elastic, so that's 16 centimetres to go in the back of the head and 1 centimetre on each side to secure it. I use zigzag stitch to secure because then it gives a slightly firmer hold, and I'll show you that when I've done it. Okay, so here's the finished mask. There's the zigzag stitching to stitch the bands in place. So that's the bottom and that's the top. Now all it needs to do is I need to just place a little tissue in there to act as added protection. Okay, so the tissue is still fairly folded up just as it comes out of the packet, and I'm going to insert that in now. Okay, and here's me wearing it. I've pinched the band around the nose. I've got the top strap going up behind my hair and the bottom strap quite snugly around my neck. It just about fits to my chin, but I think probably for somebody with my size head, maybe a centimetre or 2 longer might be better. But there is a tight fit here, a tight fit all the way around, and most importantly around my nose. It's pretty warm, it's not comfortable, but then I don't think any mask is. Okay, so thank you for watching. Remember, the most important thing you can do to keep safe is to wash your hands thoroughly for 20 seconds in warm water with an antibacterial soap, is to only go out for exercise and to follow government guidelines. That way